Hello, and welcome back to the weekly Oracle card reading with Kylie Savage, Psychic Medium. This reading is from the week from the 6th of July to the 12th of July 2019. I'm reading from 3 decks, all by Colette Baron-Reid, and the major 4 cards that I've pulled are from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms deck. Now, first card is Spiral Dancer, number 5. Oops, keep forgetting to not put the cards right in that line. The second card is the High Lord of Gratitude and Service, card number 2. The third card is the Chess Queen, number 30. And our fourth card is the Desert Prince, that's number 19. Okay, and I've also pulled one card from the Good Tarot, which is Two of Water. It's also known as Two of Cups in traditional tarot. And I've asked for a goddess to step forward and support us with whatever comes up in this reading or any themes and experiences we might have this week, and that's the goddess Maya, number 34. Okay, now I don't know about you, but last week was fairly intense. I felt the eclipse energies around the new moon energies around on Wednesday. I trust that those of you who were lucky enough to experience a solar eclipse in the Northern Hemisphere had a great experience, and I'd love to hear all about it. I've never actually seen a solar eclipse, and probably would be too chicken to watch it anyway. I know you can watch it with all the special glasses and everything now. But yes, look, we're headed into eclipse season now, and if you are feeling the energies quite keenly, just know that perhaps this is what's happening. You're just tuning in to the eclipse energies and what's happening in our skies, and you're feeling them. So don't think that you're going any more crazy than usual or anything like that. It's really worth checking in with some great astrologers. If you'd like to hear about the astrologers that I follow, please let me know, because I'm happy to post some links. And I think that people are becoming more and more interested in astrology and what's happening in the skies, and what the lessons and experiences are for us that the skies hold, and what more we can learn. I know Robert O'Hotto, I shared on my Facebook page, he had a free offer about something, and Robert O'Hotto is an incredibly interesting man, and his work is like leading edge of astrology. It's kind of taking astrology, much, much further. And I really love it because he's very much about our spiritual and personal development, and how astrology can impact our lives, and how we can use it to be of service to others, and to, wake each other up, and to really evolve as human beings. So definitely check out Robert O'Hotto. Okay, Spiral Dancer. Now, when this card comes up, what it really means is we can be feeling like, especially with Mercury retrograde coming up, we can be feeling like on that spiral, like in life, we can be feeling like we're going backwards. Yet what it is destiny. Colette says it in the guidebook really well. Destiny's path is never usually a straight line from A, B, C, D. What it is a spiral. And we can be feeling like we're slipping backwards. And it's like, oh my God, why are these people here again? Why is this pattern coming up again? Why am I in the same situation? What have I done wrong? We could be feeling all those things. And that's not true. What is happening is we're on that spiral, and we're coming back around to a similar point, but we're actually spiraling upwards. And it is all about perception, really looking at Maya, and it does say perception on the card, really looking at how we're looking at things. Is it possible that I'm not actually sliding backwards? I'm coming back to a similar point in my life to have a deeper experience with all of these things. So look at, very much this week, look at obstacles, not as obstacles, but as opportunities. Look for those silver linings, and understand that really, like, I always look at it as it's kind of a compliment. Life is paying you a compliment and saying, I'm bringing these similar situations back into your life because you're now ready to go next level. you know, to really consolidate your knowledge and your learning with this particular lesson and in this area of spiritual growth. And you're now ready for this. So even if it's tough, and particularly if it's tough, know that life is trusting you to take everything you've learned up to this point, to utilize all the wisdom that you now have and all those experiences, all that knowledge you have under your belt. It's asking you to use all of that to look at the, you know, revisit the same or similar pattern or situation, and just go deeper with it. You know, unpack it more, see what else is in there for you, and see how perhaps you can also share what you've learnt with other people. That's often a lesson, you know, when we come back around to a similar point, that's often the lesson is, okay, you have this knowledge now, you've finessed it and refined it. Now, what are you going to do with it? You know, is there a way you could share it with somebody else? It also can be about how can you connect this information lesson with other people, particularly in your personal relationships. What are you observing? What are you aware of? What can you perceive? And can you see how perhaps someone else, like either your partner in your romantic relationship or a family member or a friend or a co-worker, can you see perhaps how maybe where you're at can illuminate where they're at, and you might have some wisdom to share for them? The other thing is perhaps they are on a similar loop to you, and you might be able to observe what's going on for them and really see, you know, one particular lesson or experience or a pattern of behaviour in a different light, and they may have some insights to share for you, and you may be able to let them kind of take the lead in this go round. So really be aware of the teachers that come into your life this week and throughout this month. Be aware that you know, things from the past may naturally come up. I know Robert Hotto is going to unpack Mercury retrograde and tell you more about what sign it's in and how that relates to your life and everything. And he'll do it, you know, 100% better than what I could do it. Because that's his field of expertise. Yet, just know that, you know, if things come up from the past, or we have similar experiences, just please be very kind to yourself. Have lots of self-compassion and say, hey, this feels familiar, this looks familiar, or I'm sure I've been through something like this before. You know, go back through your journals, through your photos or whatever, and say, oh, you know, this does seem really familiar. Perhaps, you know, look at why you could be back there, and not to punish yourself, but to say, okay, just be curious about it and say, perhaps there's something else here for me to learn or experience, or I am able to share. You know, there might be somebody in my current circle of people in my life. They may have something to share for me. I have something to share for them. Share with them. And just go into this week thinking, okay, we're just going to go with the flow, have a little bit of detachment, and just be aware that as things come up, if they do, that they're not coming up to punish yourself, and life's not, you know, trying to beat you down or anything. Life is perhaps presenting an opportunity. It may look like an obstacle, but perhaps it's an opportunity. And it's an opportunity for greater awareness, to gain more wisdom, to gain more insights, and probably to sort of tool up for the next stage of life as well. Know that with all of these cards, what they are saying basically is, if you can sit in the pocket of all you're good and going with the flow, that there are some great gifts coming back to you this week. You know, some really good gifts, and you're going to be able to set yourself up really well for the rest of the year. And there's lots of personal success and personal gain in here for you. So know that all of these cards are really great cards, and really think about too, if you're in a relationship, with whatever you're going through at the moment in that relationship, especially if it's a long-term relationship, know that I totally lost the track. Know that this week, you know, themes and insights and gifts will come up. So think about the reading in terms of your relationship, especially if you had questions about relationships. And the other thing, like with the Spiral Dancer, is letting somebody else take the lead for a while. And you don't need to make big life-changing decisions this week. Perhaps you can just sit back, sort of be pulled by their current, in that spiral, and let's just, you know, be curious and see how things unfold. Know that you don't have to be, you know, in that very yang energy, taking action yourself all the time and sort of stirring up the waters all the time. Sometimes we can just sit back and let other people carry us, and we can just receive the wisdom, let other people set the tone, and you know, we can just sort of go along with their plan and see where it takes us. We don't always have to be in control. I really think that's the message of this week. Okay, and the next right action to take really is about sort of taking that back seat, thinking about altruism. So it says selflessness, humility, conscious action. Thinking about, you know, where might we be able to be of service? Like if we've been running around in that very yang energy and thinking, you know, where's my stuff? How come this is not happening for me? That's not happening for me. Things feel like they're slowed down or gone backwards, or it's a dry spell. You know, if we're sort of really kind of stuck in that mode, this is the week to sit back. Great week for meditation, for journaling, for going out, having a walk, doing some really, you know, deep self-care and nurturing activities to just kind of reset things and go, hey, life is not all about me, my machinations and my plans. Life really is about other people as well, and how I might be of service to them. And know that if you're in that divine flow, those opportunities for service will come up, and you may intuitively feel like, oh, I usually feel that if I feel vulnerable and uncomfortable, and yet there's this kind of other energy in there, and I'm like, I feel like I need to say this thing or do this thing or be in this certain place for this person, or usually keep quiet. You know, I feel that sort of that energy come in, that there is something else operating here, a greater power than myself, and so I will go with it. And I know I'm always divinely protected and directed whenever I do feel that vulnerability come up, and I do feel like I'm really going to be seen, and I'm going to get out of myself enough to be of service, that I'm always taken care of. Things always work out for the best, and there's usually a blessing in there for me as well. They can't be my motive, because that's not altruism and that's not selflessness, so they can't be my motive. So usually, as you said, I know these moments because I feel fear, I feel very vulnerable, and like I'm really going outside my comfort zone. That's usually my first signal that there's a real opportunity to be of service. Yet the thing is, just know that, you know, these are the experiences that we have that we really can grow from. So look for those, stay in the flow. When you're in the flow, more than, you know, trying to push our own agendas and our own will all the time, that those opportunities for service come up. So just go with them and really be awake and aware this week. And, you know, as you said, setting the tone for the rest of the year, just be thinking, how might I be of service? And trust me, those opportunities will come up, and you'll know you're being of service because the words will come, the action will come, things will just unfold magically and beautifully, and you'll both be blessed by the experience. I know that's when I've been of real service, and I feel that like I'm getting out of myself, you know, so that greater power can come through me. That's when I know that's happening. Okay, the Chess Queen. Now it says trust and strategize, and yet I really want to pull it back to being of service. Yes, we all have our own agendas. I'm not saying not to have that. Yes, we need to have these dreams and aspirations for our lives. Yet, what the Chess Queen is saying is, if we are guided by a higher power, those moves will be made effortlessly and easily. And sometimes we do feel like we're being held back because we're being held in place, and that's a strategic thing. That's our higher power saying, hold on, you know, now is not the right time. Just keep thinking, it's about divine timing. And, you know, I'm a super impatient person, so this is always difficult for me. Yet when I feel like two things aren't happening in my life, they're not unfolding, and I can be, you know, pushing and striving, and I just feel depleted, my energy's all going out, well, I know that I'm not in flow. I'm not in divine flow. I'm not in divine timing. I'm trying to push my own agenda and I'm getting nowhere, or I'm getting somewhere, but it doesn't feel good. So the Chess Queen is saying those moves will be made. Yeah, if you make them, if you check your intentions, you check where you're coming from, and you think about who you're being of service to, those moves will be made in an almost effortless way, and you'll be able to look back often and say, wow, see when I did that, I got out of myself enough, that altruism, that selflessness, that humility came through, and then see how the dominoes just fell after that experience. And really this week it's about feeling centered and grounded in our spirituality and in our connection to divinity. The Desert Prince is saying the same thing. Sometimes too we have this, feeling like it's not happening. We go into the scarcity and poverty thinking, and just feeling like it's very difficult to get any sort of response, from the outside world, and like, where are the rewards? Where's my stuff? The thing about the Desert Prince is too, as you said, we may feel like we're being held in a certain place, and that sometimes that feels like we're going backwards. We're not. We may feel like we're being held in a place, but when you're there, look around you. And what the desert is saying is, like the plants in the oasis and in the Australian desert, there's amazing biodiversity and some incredible creatures, plants and wildlife. And the people who can survive in the desert environments, they their gifts are massive. They have such innate wisdom and traditions, and they often can be very, very generous of spirit because they understand, how tough life can be. And what this card is saying, those plants and animals that survive in such harsh environments are usually, are so beautiful, and their evolution is so fine-tuned. And, if we grow up in these tough environments, we can actually sort of become our best selves. It's from not having things so easy that we really grow. So know that if you're in a place and it feels really tough and it feels like there's not a lot of support from the universe and things just don't seem to be happening to you, and you're looking around comparing yourself to other people, know that, hang on a minute, that grow where you're planted, because where you're planted may seem tough, but it's probably going to yield the most amazing benefits and the most amazing growth and the most amazing diversity. So it is all about perception. Like, if you feel like you're in a really barren world, perhaps say, you may be in actually the richest environment for your spiritual growth. So let's really look at how we're thinking about things. Going back just about long-term relationships and things, especially because this is the Two of Cups, which is sometimes known as the Lover's card. And I really do like that card in traditional tarot, like the man, the woman are standing there, and it sort of looks like the healing sword is hanging above them, and there's the lion with the wings, and the lady, I think, has the laurel leaf on her head, and the man has like a garland of fruit. And what it is saying too is that I feel like when that card comes up, there's an exchange of ideas, and in a relationship, one partner sometimes does take the lead and sets the tone for the relationship, and then sometimes it's the other person's time. So if you're not in a long-term relationship and that doesn't relate, look at how, business partnerships or friendships, or even how you relate to life. Like, sometimes we want to push ahead and take the lead, and sometimes life takes the lead. So it's that give and take, and it's all about cooperation, collaboration, and knowing the energy levels too. Sometimes one partner has more energy and has the insights and the ideas and the gifts, so, it's okay to go along with their plan. And then sometimes it flows back and it's your turn. And I really want to urge you to not fight things so much this week, not be in a really resistant mindset, to be more open, to consider going with the flow and being easier, and definitely being easier on yourself. Okay, I'll just share quickly something I've been reading lately is Shirley MacLaine's I'm Over All That. I don't know if you're familiar with Shirley MacLaine, but I absolutely adore her. I've read all her books. And why I thought of her too was, I think it's in Don't Fall Off the Mountain. She has a friend who relates a story to her about meeting this woman on the mountains, and the lady's name is Maya. And she says that Maya represents illusion. So the thing is, I feel like this week, as you said, and going on, the theme of this year is a lot of veils are just going to be dropped from our eyes. And the people who are in a position, who have been on the spiritual path for quite some time, they've been digging and delving, they've done the hard yards. Some of us, we're in a position to support these people who are becoming spiritually awake and aware. There's a lot of, very fast enlightenment happening for a lot of people. And I know that can be a really rocky and tumultuous time, very difficult to navigate. You need to have the right people around you. You need to have the right teachers. And sometimes you won't find a physical person to be your teacher. So if you're looking online, know that, we really need to find these really seasoned, spiritually grounded individuals whose message we can hear. That's why it's so great there's so many spiritual teachers, because they may all be having, spreading and sharing a similar message, but we can hear it from them. So the thing is with Maya, I know that the world is waking up. Things are getting more intense, and, realities are getting sharper, and, we're coming to the pointy end on many things. So know that if you are one of those people who has some insights, who has some wisdom, know that you may be asked, this week and going forward, to share that with people. And I know that that can make us feel very vulnerable, and we can get scared about doing that and standing up and being seen. And yet when you share your truth, know that you are being protected. And just think about your agenda underneath. Like, why would you be sharing it? Let it come from the best part of you. Like, really focus on being that vessel through which Spirit's light might flow through. And then you know that what you're saying will land, it will have impact if it's meant to. The other book I really love, because I totally love the tarot, and yet tarot is a way of life, very complex. If you're interested in tarot, I can't recommend this book enough. It's called Simply Tarot, and it's by Leanna Greenaway. I ordered it online. I'm not sure if you'll still find it in bookstores, but it lays out all of the tarot cards so well. And you'll see that, I'll just quickly show you. So Two of Cups. So Two of Cups is there, which was this card. And very simple, very easy to read, and gives you a really great basic overview of the Rider-Waite Tarot. Anyway, so thank you again for watching, and subscribing and liking the videos, and I wish you many blessings on this week, and I'll see you next week.